This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's episode 980, and it's the Relevant Podcast here in Orlando. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Lake Nona in South Orlando, Jesse Kari.
Hello, hello. That's
a nice back porch you are streaming from.
Watching the sunrise over.
Lovely. All the way from somewhere else in Orlando, Gabrielle Griffin.
Hey, guys.
It's our last time with you in Florida. You're going back to California after this. Very sad. And from Paris, France, the global, the Orlando studio, distributed Orlando studio expands to Paris. Please welcome Tyler Huckabee.
Bonjour, everybody.
It's so weird. We are in 4 states normally, but now we're in 1 city and 2 countries, or 2 cities and 2 countries.
Yeah. It's already, it's really, I'm looking at you guys and I'm seeing it. We're all looking at a little bit. We're still waking up over there stateside. I'm seeing Jesse's outside. I'm seeing like birds tweeting and I feel like the rooster's about to crow in the morning out there. Cameron, you guys look like it's still the dead of night.
It is.
The rooster has about another hour
because of summer travel. Yet again, we had to adapt, and this crew got up before breakfast, everybody, to do this podcast for you. So if it's a little weird, it's because this is the first time we've ever recorded at this hour. So 15 years, why not?
Yeah. Well, not only that. You know, we attempted a live in-person recording with at least 3 of us yesterday. True. And a small piece of audio equipment confounded multiple audio professionals with decades of experience. I think we spent the better part of an hour and a half tinkering with the device to try to get us to record in person.
It's true. The brightest minds in audio engineering. We're completely waylaid by. I couldn't even honestly tell what was going on. Everything was working fine on my end. I just watched you guys scurry around on the screen, and finally we were like, it's just somebody had to call it. It wasn't going to happen. So I admire you guys. This is the second time in as many months that Gabs has had to get up at the crack of dawn, I think, to accommodate a recording snafu. So she's MVP of the team right now.
Absolutely.
Well,
always MVP.
Thank you for that. And this is the second time it's right before a flight too. Like literally, we're gonna wrap this, and I'm gonna go to the airport.
Oh, that's true.
Same with Jesse.
I'm in the same boat. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Yeah. It's just a whirlwind day. But here we are. Listen, we can't. That's just how much our listeners mean to us. We can't just skip. We can't just take a week off. We will risk, rushing to airports, waking up at the crack of dawn, tinkering with audio equipment to get this, essential content, life-changing content.
They're good shows. They're good shows.
They are good shows. They're good shows. Yeah,
it's exciting.
Speaking of which, what do we got? What do we got coming down the pipe today?
We have a great show coming up later. We talk to amazing worship leaders, Kari Jobe and Cody Carnes. They have a new collaboration out with Mav City Music. We'll talk about that and a lot more. Don't miss it. Also, we have your feedback, and right now, stay tuned. Up next, it's Relevant Plus.
Not closer to the start than to the limit. Take a bow to the sky. If you wanna wait, great. Ha, singing hallelujah. Pray to God, cover your lives, go to groove. Singing hallelujah. Run for your life, cover your eyes. Alpha's a loop. Tell me why, don't tell me when. Don't tell me how I must have died. I'm 51, 1953. Just a count into the stars.
You're listening to Phoenix. The song is Alpha Zulu. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Mercy Ships. Globally, 5 billion people lack access to surgical care. In sub-Saharan Africa, there's only 1 surgeon for every 200,000 people. Mercy Ships provides free, life-transforming surgeries for people who have little to no access to medical care. They help the blind see, straighten twisted limbs, remove deadly tumors, treat cleft conditions, and so much more. With state-of-the-art hospital ships, they provide safe surgery to children and adults living with treatable conditions, and it's completely free of charge. They do all this work with an all-volunteer crew of professionals who donate their time and talents. Surgeons, stewards, nurses, engineers, and more make the world a better place. Your donation today provides free, safe surgeries to people in desperate need of help. All gifts are matched, so please donate today at mercyships.org/relevant. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Tim Tebow's book, Look Again. Have you ever wondered what would change if you truly believed you were infinitely valuable to God? In his New York Times bestselling book, Look Again, Tim Tebow reveals the powerful truth that when we learn to see the image of God in every person, including those we struggle to love, everything changes. Tebow shares incredible stories from his work with people the world often overlooks, and it will challenge you to stand up to the lies, rediscover the worth that everyone has, and impact the world for good. Find Look Again by Tim Tebow, available now wherever books are sold. Okay, it's time for
Relevant Buzz.
Tyler, what's happening there in Paris? Tell us what's going on this week.
Real quick, I know you're covering the news from Paris. I just want to know it's been pretty uneventful on this side of the pond. So hopefully
sleepy. Yes.
Yeah, hopefully there's something newsworthy happening because people here just don't know what to do with their boredom with the news cycle.
I'm not keeping track of American news. You've covered one American news cycle, you've covered them all. And I don't think, and I'm assuming, obviously there's a lot to cover about the American news cycle, much of which you can catch over at relevantmagazine.com.
Most of it this couple of weeks, it's cat stuck in a tree there, bake sale here, it just around the country. It's just slow, wholesome news everywhere. So please tell us something exciting that will get people stirred up, Tyler.
I am aware, even from Paris, we are aware of some very major SCOTUS decisions, like a couple weeks ago, the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and of course, some of the big fines that the January 6th Commission is finding, things of that nature. I've chosen to take a skip on that one for the relevant buzz. We're going to keep it to things that maybe you don't know about or don't have a lot of context about. If you want to read more about those things, you can obviously go over to the website and read them.
That's good. That was a good plug. That's good.
There you go.
You know those stories, and we are covering those stories.
Yeah.
Here's a story that might have fell under your radar. Yeah,
I think because there is still a lot happening, and this one's, we're just going to start off a little bit. This one, I was intrigued by this one. This is a story that came to us from The Economist. There's this group called the Economist Intelligence Unit Global Livability Index. It's a very long name. What they do is every year they rank. It's 173 major world cities on a scale of livability, which are the most livable, the easiest to get to, and which are the least. It ranks them according to 5 major sort of measures. Those measures are stability, political stability, healthcare, culture and environment, and the education and infrastructure. All right. Those are the things they use to rank.
Does that factor in?
I think they call that part of stability. So just how stable is your living situation basically. Yeah. So is your rent going to soar out of your ability to pay it? Are you going to lose your job easily? Those sorts of things. Wages. Yeah. A few. I won't have you guess because there's a lot of cities on here. But one very notable thing that I'm interested in get you guys' thoughts on, of the top 10, all of them were from 2 continents. There was only 2 continents represented in the top 10. If you don't count, it's true. Number 10, there's a tie at number 10, and one of those cities is Japan. So Asia is represented at the very end of the top 10. The city is from Japan.
I thought you said the city is
not the city of
Japan.
Not the city of Japan.
Japan, Ohio. Never been there. Lovely.
But other than that, Europe and Canada dominated the top 10 entirely in a clean sweep.
Australia would be up there.
Clean sweep. It was so number one, the top most livable city according to this was Vienna, Austria, which is often at or around the top spot. It kind of bounces around the top 3. Took a little nosedive during COVID, like a lot of cities did, and its response didn't measure particularly high. But with COVID kind of in the rearview mirror, Vienna is number 1. Number 2
sausages.
Is
the sausage factory.
Yeah,
is
it's the sausages. Employer. Yeah, like we said. Yeah, we said culture and entertainment.
There's a high degree of the sausage to just life fulfillment ratio. I mean, we've observed that.
Germany's bratwurst, put Berlin's way up there.
Europe,
Vienna.
There are neighborhoods in working class Pittsburgh that are among the happiest places on earth just because of bratwurst intake. It's incredible there. It's a utopia.
utopia of sausage.
It's a sausage filled utopia. Yeah, sausage fueled utopia. You know,
You're I don't know if your theory holds true for number 2 because Copenhagen, Denmark is next. I'm not familiar with the Copenhagen sausage scene.
I mean,
for all I know, it's very robust. They keep it to themselves.
You are Swedish meatball adjacent over there, so like I think there's a big like it's the sausage corridor there in Europe. You know, it's
yeah. You're moving to what I call the crockpot corner, which is just they're all the minis. They're the mini ones with toothpicks.
Yeah,
you know they eat meat with toothpicks over there.
Yeah, that's true. All of those meats are eaten with a toothpick. All from Scandinavia.
Yeah, we haven't thought about this yet.
Obviously, life is good, despite their governments being socialist hellscapes.
If your primary utensil is a toothpick,
culture
you're eating what? You're eating right. Life is good.
Hang on, your theory is holding here because number 3 is Zurich in Switzerland. So I really do think we're getting around to something with the meat with the toothpick and a meatball situation. Good job, Jay. I didn't see that.
Maybe it's
in
portions.
The study.
Maybe it's tapas. Maybe it's small bites. They're just it's a healthier lifestyle.
That's got to be it. They don't eat a lot. They do eat a lot of meat, but they eat it in very small bites.
They don't eat a foot-long brat like the Pittsburgh Utopia. They eat little toothpick brats.
Yeah, not a lot of meat. So I think that was the U.S. obviously didn't crack the top 10 this year. L.A. jumped actually 18 points up, which was pretty notable over last year's placement. It was in 37th place, and the city that saw the highest nosedive of every city on the list was also an American city. Houston fell 25 points down to 56th place. Houston, our own downtown Emily Brown, who is an occasional resident of Houston, slides in and out of there. I don't know. She's not around to defend Houston this time, but according to this index,
I think she would agree with the current ranking based on the stories I've heard.
So I got the full list over there at relevantmagazine.com. If you're planning on making a little international move, if you're a little tired, if you're a little sleepy after your COVID lockdown, looking for a new place to go, this might be a helpful little blueprint for you to go check it out. I know I made a move to Paris. Paris, I would say, did not do super well in the rankings, so I'm not exactly a textbook case of how to use this list very well. But you can definitely go check it out there, and especially if you're open to moving to some Nordic countries. I think that might be a little bit of confirmation for your situation there.
Love it.
Nordic countries. I watch a lot of Netflix travel shows, as we all do during COVID, and every time they visit one of these delightful Nordic countries, everyone seems very happy. And they all seem to be eating a lot of salted fish as well. So again, I find a lot of correlation between meat you eat with your bare hands or toothpicks or just slurp down and just your overall fulfillment in life. So this is really fascinating stuff, Tyler. I think you're onto something.
That's the takeaway.
Have you guys also noticed that like all those tiny home shows that are on like Netflix and stuff, they take place in a lot of those countries and places.
I'm ready to go. I'm already close. I'm halfway there. So I'm ready to I'm just gonna hop on the train and head up there, and you guys are gonna hear from me again in my new
I've already transitioned most of my lifestyle so that I can be sustained only on crockpot meatballs. So we're I'm expecting my serotonin levels to soon be through the roof here because I got a whole pot cooking right now.
Crockpot dishes are a goated food. There's no misses coming out of the crockpot. It's one of my big. I really miss it. The crockpot isn't a big part of the Parisian kitchen. But I'm going to try to introduce it here. That's going to be part of my new French lifestyle.
I'm sure they'll appreciate that. Yeah.
All right. What else you got?
All right. So are any of you familiar with the HBO Max show Hacks, the TV show Hacks on HBO?
Of course. Watched all of it.
Yeah. Really good show about sort of a friendship that emerges between an aging comedian, kind of over the hill stand-up comedian, and a new writer that she gets to help like brush up her stand-up set for the millennial and Gen Z.
You know who she is? She's Joan Rivers. That's who she's playing.
They're 100% basing her on Joan Rivers. It's a good show. I'm enjoying the show a lot. Yeah. And a breakout star of that show is Meg Stalter, who plays the I would say pretty dim-witted secretary or front desk woman for an agent of the writer, and she's becoming a bigger and bigger part
daughter
of the plot.
the owner of the agency and stuff. She's that big personality.
Yeah. So she's a nepotism baby in the show who worked her way up, and she clearly doesn't belong there. But she's one of those who you can tell started out as a bit character, but is working so well that they're finding more ways to incorporate her into the overall story, a la like Dwight in The Office and things like that.
Yeah.
But she's spent a lot of time on the comedy circuit herself. She's done a lot of stand-up comedy, and she is working on a new show for HBO as well that's called Church Girls. It is based on her own real-life experience of growing up, going to a Pentecostal church in suburban Ohio. She grew up there. She's now out. She's bisexual, but she was sort of struggling to find her place and her identity as somebody who loved God and didn't really know what that meant for her in suburban Ohio. So she's working on this show called Church Girls, and I think I don't know if you guys feel this way. I really find a lot of times that shows about church or church life really don't hit or resonate for me, because you can tell so often they either come from way outside the house, like somebody who's maybe never been to a church before or only seen like very like weird representations of church in their own media circles, or else it comes with a pretty biting agenda behind it, like they're really trying to make a statement to the point where the sermon kind of gets in the way of telling an actually good story. And in neither case does it look very familiar to me or to those of us who have been to church for a long time and kind of know so to speak, how the sausage is made in church. And I have some hope for this one.
Little tiny sausage with toothpicks.
Little tiny sausages. Because Meg Stalter has talked a lot about her church experience, and although obviously it was very complicated for her, she still has very fond memories of church and has spoken very appreciatively about her ongoing relationship with God and Christianity and her faith. And I hope, and don't know yet, but I hope that this could be sort of an interesting, different, maybe more nuanced look at church in the pop culture sphere than we've gotten in quite a while, especially from a place like HBO and A24, which is also co-producing this.
What are you saying?
Church
Righteous Gemstones isn't a documentary? I've been watching. I watched the Way Down and the Righteous Gemstones back to back. I thought they were the same thing.
I think Gemstones is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. But I mean, it's like obviously a lampooning of a certain segment of church culture.
Yeah.
It is one of those things where it's hard to think of too many pleasant depictions of kind of modern evangelicalism in culture and media. I mean, I feel like a lot of times, Cameron, you've made this observation before, where, a lot of times depictions of church that are just sort of, plot devices are often amalgamations of just a bunch of different denominations that happen to meet. You know what I mean? Like, you can tell, like, in a lot of cases, like, the writers didn't really have actual experience in a particular church that they were trying to replicate. They were just sort of taking a lot of different church stereotypes and throwing them into like a scene representing the church, where, getting the depiction that it shows kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly, but also the thing that keeps bringing people back every week is sort of rare in culture. And I think it would, it would do, I think, a lot of viewers well to kind of see that side of it, where, we're all very, very well aware of the warts of the modern church. But like I said, there is something that brings communities together to meet every week and to impact lives, to get people to dedicate their life to this thing, that I think it would be kind of fun to watch a depiction of, that's honest and funny and true, but also, done in good faith, not necessarily looking to just kind of send up or make fun of.
Yeah. Hopefully that's what this is.
Hopefully so. We'll keep an eye on it.
Exactly.
We'll keep an eye on it. And it'd be cool if we got an opportunity, and I hope we will, to talk to some of the people involved in it. I wouldn't be surprised if we have some of those coming down the line. Right. So keep your eyes peeled.
For sure. All right. What's the last thing?
Last thing I got, you may have seen it, especially if you were following relevantmagazine.com, but our friends Maverick City Music headed over to NPR, to the infamous Tiny Desk. They got all 30 people in this quote unquote tiny desk. I don't know how tiny we're actually talking here, but they did get everybody around for a couple performances at the Tiny Desk studio, and that was cool. That's kind of a king-making situation for a lot of bands, and it was cool to see Mav City, as far as I know, the only worship band to ever do a Tiny Desk concert. And here's a clip of them singing.
You keep all of your promises. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. You
Well, one caveat about the no worship band thing is during COVID, Kirk Franklin did a Tiny Desk.
That's true.
Remote.
That's true. All right. You're right.
So he kind of double dipped because he showed up on this one too. It's been a big week. They're on their, national tour, arena tour, selling out arenas all over the country with Kirk Franklin. And this week, not only were they on Tiny Desk, but they did the BET Awards. It's like every major stop they're getting right now. It's amazing. So good for them.
They also landed on the cover of of the summer issue of Relevant Magazine.
Yeah,
Naomi Raine,
Kingmakers. You're talking about Kingmakers,
right? Yeah, talking about Queen Makers here at Relevant. So definitely a big week. Definitely a big week for Maverick City Music. Of course, rooting for those guys.
And two, what like if you were to rewind like a year and a half ago, okay, when we were all like, are we ever even going to meet again in person anywhere, much less return to the office? Not only is NPR like this shit, like I feel like you got to celebrate the wins, right? Like there's a lot of heavy news, but like we are at a place, kind of post, pandemic where not only are we watching people hang out in the NPR offices, just like the old days, just they're working in an office. We're going to cram a band of 30 people in the office too, and sing songs as loud as we can and celebrate. Like for real, like a year and a half ago, if you were to give a glimpse in the future to say, hey, in the summer of 2022, we're going to come so far in the pandemic where this is happening. And it's Maverick City singing in an office. It's like, hey, we've come a long way. Like I said, I know there's a lot of heavy stuff going on, but like, look, that's pretty cool that life has returned to some sense of normalcy when it wasn't that long ago, when all of us were legitimately questioning if something like that could ever happen again,
Yeah.
We are resilient.
Yeah.
Sad news. This just in. Monkeypox outbreak hits Maverick City Music, screeching the next leg of the tour.
No. The tour comes to a halt.
It was a super spreading event. Yeah. Great songs, but unfortunately, it took down NPR and Maverick City
Unfortunately, it was a bad idea to cram 30 people into 2 NPR cubicles.
Kai Risdall is never to be heard from again. It's a tragedy.
Yeah,
everybody.
Exactly. Two cubicles initially reserved for Scott Simon and his assistant have now caused the next pandemic.
Oh my goodness! All right, that's it for Relevant Buzz. Stay tuned. Up next, Kari Jobe and Cody Carnes join us.
You were here before in a different body.
You're listening to Young the Giant. The song is Wake Up. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by John Mark Comer's book, Garden City, a book that speaks to the tension we all feel between work, rest, and purpose. The New York Times bestselling author John Mark Comer takes us to the scriptures to identify what it really means to be human and flips the script on the idea that who you are matters, not what you do. He shows that God created us for meaningful work and meaningful rest. Both matter. This book helps you ask and answer the big questions. Does God care where I work? Is there a direction for my life? So you can discern God's heart for your calling, your rhythms, and the way His Spirit wants to shape every part of your life. If you're longing for purpose and a more grounded way to live, check out the new hardcover edition of Garden City wherever books are sold. Well, today's show is brought to you in part by the new book, God, the Science, the Evidence. We talk a lot about faith, but how often do we talk about science in the same breath? You might be surprised to discover just how deeply the two actually agree. For centuries, science has been used to dismiss the idea of God, but today an intellectual revolution is underway. Modern discoveries in physics, cosmology, and biology are consistently revealing the same truth: creation isn't an accident. That profound reversal is what engineers Michel-Yves Bolloré and Olivier Bonassi investigate in their international bestseller, God, the Science, the Evidence. This book is a rigorous, evidence-based critique of materialism, inviting you to explore over a dozen scientific, philosophical, and historical domains. It shows that what was once seemed impossible, that science could point to a creator, is now supported by a vast and convergent body of evidence. With over 400,000 copies sold in Europe, this book is sparking a global debate. It's thoughtful, fascinating, and a powerful reminder that reason itself affirms the existence of God. Learn more and find out where you can purchase your copy today by visiting godthesciencetheevidence.com. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Erwin McManus's book, The Barbarian Way. Some books don't just inspire you, they confront you. The Barbarian Way, now celebrating its 20th anniversary, is one of those books. If you felt the pull of God towards something deeper and wilder than the safe, predictable version of faith that we settle for, McManus reminds us that following Jesus was never meant to be tame. It's meant to awaken courage, passion, and purpose God placed inside us. He draws from the wild stories of Abel, Noah, Moses, Rahab, and others to remind us that following God wasn't meant to be tame. Safe faith isn't working. Step into the story God is writing for you. Choose passion, choose boldness, choose The Barbarian Way. Available now wherever books are sold. Well, Kari Jobe and Cody Carnes are a worship leading duo from Nashville, Tennessee. Together, they've written numerous modern church staples like Run to Father, Nothing Else, and of course, The Blessing. They joined our very own Tyler Huckabee to talk about the impact of the inspiration behind some of their biggest hits, the importance of writing worship music that engages with real world issues, and why the best worship can come from listening to God's people. Here is our conversation with Kari Jobe and Cody Carnes.
Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. As we receive, we agree. Amen.
I talked to Furtick and the Elevation guys about The Blessing, and they spoke very, very highly of your bringing that together with you all. Can you tell me, from your perspective, a little bit of the story of how that song came together in the first place, and then how it's sort of evolved while you've been in quarantine?
Yeah. So we had planned to lead worship at their church that weekend, and so we all had the idea to come together a little earlier and just write. And so we actually wrote for I don't know what part of the story they told, but I love talking about how we wrote a different song for 8 hours that day. We were about to demo that song, and Pastor Furtick picked up a guitar and started just with the idea of The Blessing. It was a different melody, right? Mm-hmm. But it was the first verse idea.
Yeah, just writing around that priestly blessing in number 6. That's hard to say.
It is, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So it was one of those moments where we were we should lean in on that. This feels really, really special. And so another 5 hours of writing, but it was so beautiful because it felt like we were all just sitting around reminding each other of the promises of God that we all believe and that we wanted to throw into a song, So we kind of all say it wrote itself in a way. The hardest part of the song was the melody line for Amen. We just wanted it to be singable and beautiful, but not too much movement. We worked through the amens for a while trying to land on those, but it was really amazing. We didn't know what it was. It felt special in the room, but we had no idea until that weekend when we led it for the first time and the room just erupted.
I'm curious about the songwriting process, especially for people like you who worship music, corporate church music. It feels like such as somebody who does not write music, thank goodness, it's such a it feels like almost like a mystical experience. Like when you're writing worship songs, like what is the process when you go in to start creating that? Like, is it difficult? Is it hard to have this like very intimate experience with God that then you just kind of put out into the world and anybody anywhere all over the world might sing it? Like what happens in your, like on a nitty gritty level?
Yeah, I think it is kind of mystical. It really is. Like, it's not angels flying around and all that. Like, it's not so much physically mystical. It's more so like when she said that the blessing kind of wrote itself, that's how we felt, because it was almost like when you're writing a song, especially when you're writing for the church. So you're partnering with the Holy Spirit at that point, and you're writing a song and creating something. It does feel like ideas come out of nowhere. It feels like things come to you that aren't out of your own strength or even out of your own knowledge, out of your own wisdom. It's just like ideas will often just pop in your head. And, I think about writing that song, and it's like the verse came really quickly, but then we knew that we wanted to say amen in the chorus. And a lot of that is just creative expression. So you can kind of create what you want to create as a human, as having your own mind, your own free will. You can create whatever you want. But I think the heart of it when you're writing for the church is that you want to partner with the Holy Spirit and write something that He's wanting to say. You're wanting to be just that kind of vehicle, that vessel, that kind of He flows through to put something down on paper to communicate to the church. And, so it is kind of an interesting, situation, especially when you're writing with other people. There is a power that comes from intimacy in it. And a lot of times that intimacy is best. Those ideas best come when you're by yourself. So a lot of times when we go in to write songs, we already have an idea started. And that idea was birthed out of intimacy, alone time with God. Yeah. And that gets captured in that. So even when you take it to other people, a lot of times the other people process is a lot of crafting. It's not super like holy moment, mystical angels flying around kind of thing. It's like, how do we take this holy moment that happened? How do we craft it creatively where it's communicated well at that point? So it's a lot of like communication, just skills, and people that know how to write songs, people that know how to communicate that kind of stuff. Theology is brought into it. What does the Bible say? What does Scripture say? How do we make sure this is correct? We often pass songs around to people that we trust theologically after we write something. Hey, will you check this? Hey, will you let me know if anything in this is weird, or what's your perspective? Like, we want these things to be accurate. So
our pastor that we send songs to, he's the best because he dramatically gives us answers. And so if he loves it, he's like, oh my gosh, this is going to slay demons. And and then if he has something negative, he's like, I just checked this one line, but everything else is fantastic. It makes you feel really good and really positive.
Yeah. When I've just gone through the motions, I'm sorry. When I just sang another song, take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. I'm sorry when I've come.
As you have sought God on this and prayed about this, the right way to respond. Do you have any advice or wisdom that search has brought to you that you would feel comfortable sharing with the people who are going to read or listen to this? Anything that you found that you feel like would be useful for the church trying to, as they grapple with what is the right thing to say, and how do we accurately grapple with the moment that we're in?
Yeah. So my dad's a pastor, and I grew up with my dad being in leadership, my mom and dad. And my dad was going on one of the days this week, he was going to a church that has been dealing with intense tension with this whole topic, and maybe even dealing with a church split because no one knows how to fully reconcile. And it was really, really sensitive and just so broken. And I remember the other day, I felt so led to pray that people would be more desiring of just following what the word of God says, even if their feelings didn't line up yet. Because our emotions, if we let our emotions lead us, it can just be a bit detrimental at times. But I started praying into, Lord, I just pray that people would be able to forgive and move toward reconciliation, even if their emotions aren't there. And praying about like, Jesus, how would you respond? I've been so just drawn to the fact that Jesus always did everything out of compassion. Before he healed somebody, it says he was moved with compassion. Before he cast out a demon, it says he was moved with compassion. And I think that's just my heart for the church right now, is that we would listen before we talk, that we would be moved with compassion, even before we pray or try to do something, that would affect us more, like trying to hear where someone's coming from, trying to hear the truth about like how they were raised and different things like that. I think that will help so much to give perspective.
That was Kari Jobe and Cody Carnes. Make sure to check out their new collaboration with Maverick City Music. It's called Firm Foundation, and it is out now. It's great. All right, stay tuned. Up next, it's your feedback.
I listen to you, it's an oddie. Love you cause you love me first. Choose you when I don't deserve. You stay with me, you're the only one that lasts. You got what I need, I ain't never going back. I ain't trying to reminisce on anything I had. You know that. Cause if I went without you, do I even want the prize? Seen a lot of fun things in this life, but I chose you. Swear it's nobody else to do it like you. Hold me together, singing, what would I do? What would I do? What would I do? I chose you.
You're listening to Aaron Cole. The song is Choose You. Okay, it's time for your feedback. Last week, we got talking about Derek's Woodsits and his home repair challenges, shall we say, that he's having. In fact, he's so over it. He decided to leave the country, and he's in the islands this week with his lovely wife. So he needed a break from all the home renos. So for the question of the week, we asked you your worst home renovation, contractor, or landlord repair story. You guys hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcasts, and here's a couple of our favorite replies.
Okay, Mary, good Lord. This one, this is
the worst case scenario.
This took a dark turn here, Mary. She said, my husband was doing some living room renovations and hit an artery in his arm with the drill he was using. Oh. The renovation turned into what looked like a murder scene. He was okay, thankfully, but the cleanup was quite something. How does that happen? What exactly
Seriously?
Yeah. How are you holding the drill? Like, I've used drills numerous times.
Never pointed it anywhere near an artery.
Yeah.
How traumatic.
She yada-yada'd a lot of this story here because, A, I don't know how you drill your arm. B, and then he was fine. If you drilled through an artery, you're not just fine. You don't just like put a Band-Aid, slap a Band-Aid on that and let it go away. It sounds like especially if it looked like a murder scene, they probably had to drag him to the ER.
Do you feel like one of those people, Mary's one of those people that just doesn't get rattled by anything? Like nothing, like maybe her husband is like an overreactor and like he's cried wolf too many times and he's like screaming, I think I hit an artery. And she's like, you're fine, whatever. Here's a Band-Aid. I feel like she's just over his antics. Like she's married to this big, dramatic, clumsy guy, and she's just like over it. Yeah, he hurt himself. He's fine. Yada yada. You know. Like,
but what if? I mean, we can joke about it because he's fine. Because what if he didn't make it? They're like, oh, Mary, what happened? Oh, that baby, he died while assembling the new ottoman. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what a way to go! What a way to go! What a way to go!
Just trying to make you happy. Put together the new ottoman. Yeah. Oh my goodness!
It's slightly less dramatic as far as I can tell here, but maybe not because Bethany said my husband and our groomsmen were painting our new apartment while I was at work. All right, Bethany, first of all, let's stop there. You don't, I feel like if your husband and his groomsmen offer to do anything, that's an immediate no. That's just a bad, nothing.
What are you talking about? No, immediately yes. Thank the Lord there is men out there that are willing to do something.
I think that's a good idea. The problem isn't that men are willing to do something.
The husband thing is fine.
The groomsmen.
It's the groomsmen. Yeah.
A group of
groomsmen are incapable of making good decisions. I have been a groomsman.
Fair enough.
Yeah, let me explain this. A group of groomsmen are arguably the most dangerous assembly of men, of humans you can possibly imagine. I mean, not only are they counterproductive, they're actively destructive in pretty much everything they do. I've never been part of a wedding party where all of them have been able to get dressed properly. At least one of them is either missing a belt, a bow tie, a cummerbund. There's always some emergency when a group of groomsmen is assembled, whether it's a wardrobe emergency, whether it's some sort of last minute legal issue that they happen to find themselves in. It is a group of people that you do not want to put around power tools, paint, or especially your home. You want to get them in a limo. You want to get them. That's why they put them in a limo, because they have a driver who's somewhat responsible for these knuckleheads, because they're going to do something terrible. They can't help themselves. This is what groomsmen do. Terrible things.
I feel better and better about eloping.
Also, you got to think about their motivation. They came in for a fun week to celebrate their buddy, get married, but they got put to work having to paint. It's like, this is not what they signed up for, so they're not going to take it seriously. They're just going to hang out. They're there for the pizza. Is already not good.
Or it was a wedding gift. It could have been a wedding gift, and they were really trying to take it seriously. We don't have enough details to know.
Trust me. Groomsmen are not only the most actively destructive, and they just fuel each other in their bad decision making, but they're also some of the cheapest people you will ever meet. They think that just because the groom, gave them a money clip with their initials engraved on it, that gives them carte blanche to just, that to them is like, well, I get to do whatever I want. I'm a groomsman. I received a personalized flask today. This entitles me to not have to do anything fun. I remember I remember at a wedding party, and one of the groomsmen was sent to go get fast food, and even that was a mistake. Even that was like, he's dead. Not only is the order absolutely messed up, we may never see this human again. We might as well put out the APB right now, because this was too much. This was not
somehow
expected.
He drilled to his artery. We don't even know. Why was he drilling?
He was a former groomsman.
Where did he even get the ottoman that he was assembling?
We wanted French fries, not an ottoman. Come on, Gary.
We ordered 5 number ones from Chick-fil-A. How hard was it? You started just pulling over by the side of the road and assembling a random ottoman you found? What is wrong with you, Gary? Give me the money clip.
You call it a pride of lions, a flock of birds. It's an emergency of groomsmen. That's the scientific group name for these guys.
It's a pending disaster.
They can never get together without a 911.
We never even said Bethany's story. So Jesse's premonition was correct, right?
Yeah. This is perfect. This is exactly what this is really a best case scenario for a group for having an emergency of groomsmen paint your house. She says they were so proud. That's another red flag. If groomsmen are proud of something, that means it is not only off the rails. The train is going off the bridge into the river below. And they were so proud, but had mixed up which room got which color.
No.
Bethany, be grateful. Be grateful that was as bad. Be grateful the house is still standing.
Oh, no. How? How on earth? How does the husband not know? What?
There's something about when you get invited to be a part of a wedding party where judgment goes out the window, much less basic decision making. This was too much. A color and a shape. That was too much. You should just stop to the color. Just one room, one color. But now you got 2 rooms, you got spatial things and colors. Look, you have to treat these groomsmen. These are preschoolers. Wow. These are not kindergartners yet. They're not up to colors and shapes. Pick one. That was your problem, But But I do want to circle back to the home repair thing too, because at what point in life do you just realize it's not worth it? Where like you just have a sink you no longer use at your home, or it's like, you know what, that light switch, we have a little hack where we just kind of use a flashlight in that closet. I've had 2 incidences where thankfully I learned early on where the main water main to my home is, and it's out in the front yard. And there has been 2 incidences where my neighbors have seen me sprinting out of the house with a gigantic monkey wrench attempting to shut down the main water main. I've learned the lesson. You know, if a drill or power tool is involved, it's probably over my pay grade. If electricity or water is involved, someone could die. And I outsource those to professionals. I feel like that's my barometer. Power tools from
Jesse, I've known Jesse a very, very long time, and he and I have had a lot of similar experiences. We've traveled, we've worked together, just a lot of things. And I know a lot about him. The most surprising thing, because he's a smart guy, he's athletic, he's a problem solver. The most surprising thing to me is how bad he is at basic home repair. Like, he doesn't know how to use any tools. You want him to hang a light? He calls somebody. I just never have understood this.
Can I tell you, some of my most humiliating, interactions have been when someone's over or a neighbor comes, knocks on the door or something like, "Hey, can I peek in your toolbox? I'm looking for something." I'm like, "Toolbox? I have an old plastic cabinet in my garage that just has an assortment of things that the previous homeowner left here. You can shuffle through that if you want."
And a lot of Allen wrenches that come in the box.
It's a lot of Allen wrenches. It's
assembly.
It's a lot of Allen wrenches, a roll of duct tape, a tape measure that looks like it came from the tape measure museum. Like, maybe a level that my dad left museum over there.
Is that the one in Washington? It's so great. The tape measure museum.
It really, it's the new Smithsonian. Actually, they're investing. It's about a $400 million. It's huge. It's
and what's crazy about the $500 million tape measure museum, half of the tape measures were illegally acquired by a craft store, Michael's Crafts.
Yeah, they were pillaged.
Illegally acquired half the tape measures in the museum. It's terrible.
They were pillaged from ancient Lowe's and Home Depots from across the ancient world. It's a fascinating place.
And I swore he was on the up and up. It was so strange. He had a fake mustache, and he wasn't. He told us we had to meet him behind
what are y'all talking
the real
about?
Home Depot.
I legitimately am so lost. I thought y'all were being serious that there is a tape measure museum. I'm way too low.
Okay, first of all,
it's a little bit of a jump.
Here's the joke. Jesse said an old tape measure. It looks so old. It looked like it's from the tape measure museum. The idea of an actual tape measure museum, I thought was hilarious. I said, "Oh, is that the one in D.C.?" He said, "Yes, it's the new Smithsonian, $500 million."
Yeah.
Well, now when he said $500 million, the $500 million is the Museum of the Bible. So then that's when in the Museum of the Bible, which is funded by Hobby Lobby money, a lot of the artifacts have been turned out to be illegally acquired on the black market. So then I made a joke that the new $500 million tape measure museum, half of them were illegally acquired by Michael's Crafts.
Thank you.
The look on your face of confusion of these guys have snapped. These guys have actually lost their minds. I just felt like you deserve the explanation.
I really appreciate
it's very
that.
early.
It is.
It's very early in the morning for Cameron, especially for a joke to be made about an ancient Babylonian tape measure being stolen. being smuggled out of ancient Persia
by Michael's Crafts.
Yeah, by Michael's Crafts. To hear Cameron explain it at this earlier in the morning has deflated any of the humor.
Once. The worst joke is a joke that gets explained.
I was like, please don't explain.
But I just wanted Gabs to be included about actually appreciing how brilliant that joke was. But
let's be honest. Let's be honest. This isn't on Gabs here. That joke was a long stretch. Okay.
I think if it wasn't so early, I would.
I think this is good. This is laying the groundwork for future Hobby Lobby Museum of the Bible, illegal purfling of Indiana Jones type work to get their artifacts back jokes that may come down the road.
Yeah.
And Gabs is now in the know.
Yes.
We had to do the work right now.
And
we had to get busy. It wasn't fun. Wasn't fun for us. Certainly wasn't fun for the listeners. But in the future, when we make those jokes, they're gonna soar. We're talking slam dunks.
Listen, we're recording early when the primary material that we're bringing to you for the better part of an hour now is a commentary about Swedish meatballs and their link to happiness, and possibly finding the tape measure that the carpenter Jesus used and stealing it and placing it into a Smithsonian.
By Michael Scraps.
And let us not forget Mary's
bloody
husband.
And Nep's husband, this is just
fine.
over.
He's fine.
Yeah.
And the emergency of groomsmen.
And manslaughter by Ottoman. Yeah, what an episode. What an episode. Hard-hitting stuff here.
We started doing these earlier, I think.
Oh, yeah. No, that's
we really landed on the
sunrise session. This is why morning radio is so good. Because I was just talking to somebody the other day.
I can see that.
When I was growing up, morning radio was the height of comedy. Like, it was the pinnacle of the comedic experience, was just hearing a couple goons, that had been up since 4:30 a.m. just trying to make a joke about a traffic accident that's clogging up rush hour. That was the pinnacle. And then all right, we run out of material. It's time to prank call McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like, that's why they were.
Or the second date update. Did you guys ever listen to that?
It's funny. I was just with my in-laws, and they were unpacking second date update stories for me.
I'm not familiar with this.
I love them.
Never heard of
I love them. They're
okay.
addicting. They're
so
funny.
It is so funny you mentioned that, because I had an extended conversation. So basically, like, and Gabs, if I'm butchering this, please clarify, because I've only experienced these secondhand. But I talked by my brother-in-law about an hour last night. He was telling me some of the funny ones. But basically, like, a radio station will call. They'll call someone who went out on a date with someone who didn't get a second date to learn what went wrong. And they'll get both perspectives of, why this person didn't call back for a second date. And often those perspectives are wildly different experiences, and comedy often ensues. Gabs, is that somewhat accurate?
Yes. And they do try to get you a second date. That's like the whole point, is to try to hear both perspectives. And usually one person is like really invested and wants a second date. And so they try to get you a second date. I have heard so many crazy stories on there. I just can't believe how crazy.
Even secondhand, I was laughing because my brother-in-law was like, they were like, well, I didn't want to go on a second date because he brought a snake on the date. And they're like, well, that's pretty weird. They're like, that's pretty weird, but it's not that bad. You can give me a second chance. They're like, no, but the snake bit me on the date. Like, it's like, okay, that seems like a red flag.
Yeah, like ridiculous things. Yeah, I heard one recently that was this woman took her, I guess she went on a date with this guy and she wore boots, like cowboy boots. And she took her boots off and stuck her feet up on the dash. And apparently her feet were mighty stinky. And he couldn't hack it. He just couldn't hack it. He rolled the windows down and was like, all right, you need to put your shoes back on. And she thought the date went really well. She really did. So he calls in, they get both perspectives. And he's just like, I couldn't do it. Her feet. It was her feet.
That's a gamble. That's a gamble. Barefoot is a gamble. That really is. You got to be really confident.
It is.
Did Stinky Feet get the second date?
No, they didn't. No. Nope. He was just like, I'm sorry.
Maybe they could hook Stinky Feet with the snake guy. I feel like, everybody deserves love. Everybody deserves love.
Jesse, I don't know if it was my connection or your AirPod microphone, but I thought you said that they brought a steak on the date. You said snake?
A snake.
I did too.
A snake.
Yeah, I heard steak too, and I heard steak bit me. And
I didn't know what a steak bite was. I was like, what?
I didn't question it.
I
didn't even question it.
Listen,
steak bites, man.
Okay.
I did too.
Steak. We all know what steak bites are. How dare you, Cameron? Steak bites are amazing.
Yeah.
Is it like meat sweats? Like, what's going on?
They're a meat. They're a steak bite is a steak you eat with a toothpick. Okay, if you bring that on a date,
the happiest you can be in America.
Like sirloin tips, like little steak bites. I got
steak bites. You can get a bag full of them. You pop them in the microwave for 3 minutes. You come out, get your toothpicks. Heaven on earth.
That's a guaranteed date right there. I mean, that is as close as that's as close to paradise we're gonna get on this side of heaven as a plate of steak bites. Okay.
Well, now, the people in Norway eat all their food with toothpicks, so maybe that's the key to happiness. Is steak bites.
Yeah, we need
divorce
our
rates
own,
are very low.
corner of the market.
Yeah. They have some of the happiest marriages on earth because they're centered on learning love languages, digging into the Enneagram, and copious amounts of red meat consumed with toothpicks. They've got to figure it out, those Nordics. Yeah.
They're doing it right.
I'm going to put that in my dating profile. Only eats meat with toothpicks. See if it attracts the right kind of people.
It'll attract.
Go on a date to IKEA.
Yeah,
that's not a bad idea.
That's why every couple you see walking through IKEA looks so happy. It's because they talk full of Swedish
every time I'm at IKEA, I've
door.
never seen a couple not fighting. Like it is.
Oh no! Straight up, I will say to my husband, we need to go to IKEA so I can just look around and eat meatballs. We have done this in the last 6 months a couple of times, actually.
Because
I got broken up with that in IKEA. Like I'm just telling you, like it.
Okay, all right. Forget about IKEA.
Was she a vegetarian? Was she a vegetarian? Because that's the problem right there. Well, then there was no meatballs, Cameron.
That's user error.
You were missing the meatballs.
The happiness was this. I'll say this about IKEA. They got to figure it out. Because when I go to Home Depot, it's extremely intimidating, right? Like you got these guys walking around in their little orange aprons, like they're better than everybody. Okay. I don't want to have to, like, it's a scavenger hunt every time I go. I feel anxiety wash over me as those doors open and I just see warehouse row after warehouse row.
Jesse, have you used a Home Depot app? It has an in-store mode that you just tell the app, I need a screwdriver, and it will walk you to the screwdriver.
I was raised by a father who refused to take directions at a Home Depot from a device or a human. He was going to walk confidently right to where he needed something, and if you didn't, there was something wrong with you. Okay? The great thing about IKEA, they've already got the rooms assembled for you. They've cast the vision. There's no thinking involved. You don't even have to think how to walk. There's only one way. There's one path. You got to walk through the whole store and look through every room. There's no thinking, no anxiety. Though I have seen 2 sets of groommen lost what appears to be for several weeks back there, subsisting on a Chick-fil-A order they were supposed to deliver 3 days ago. So that was the only thing. I don't even know how they got in the Home Depot. And they
don't take your emergency of groomsmen to IKEA. They'll get lost. All right. Well, there's more where that came from. Go check it out on Twitter at Relevant Podcast. Okay, it's time for this week's
editorial question of the week.
Well, I mean, we were inspired just now with the second date stories. We want to know your worst date story. We're gonna pull a page from the morning radio playbook, and you guys never disappoint on this one. We want your worst date story, or most memorable date, or worst first date, whatever wrinkle you want to throw in there. We just wanted to hear your uncomfortable situations. Hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast, or if you see us post this on our IG, you can reply there as well. Well, before we wrap things up, I want to remind you, go check out the brand new summer issue of Relevant. It just came out. It features Maverick City Music's Naomi Rain on the cover. And we have another Rain in the issue, Rain Wilson. We got John Favreau. We got James Vincent McMorrow, Dr. Caroline Leaf. So many amazing features. Go check it out. The ad-supported version, which is presented by World Vision, is available for free. Just click on the magazine tab at relevantmagazine.com. And if you're a Relevant Plus subscriber, your enhanced ad-free tablet and device edition is available in your dashboard. If you haven't signed up for Relevant Plus yet, it is the best way to experience Relevant. It's ad-free reading at our website, unlimited articles, an enhanced ad-free version of the magazine. You get an exclusive podcast, Relevant Plus Conversations. You get an ad-free version, early release version of this podcast, and a lot more. Go check it out. All the information is right there at the website. Just click on the Relevant Plus tab. Plans start as low as $250 a month. I think you'll like it, and we would love the support. Also, if you haven't been over to relevantstore.com in a while, check out the new merch we've put up. There's a podcast fan stuff and statement merch and old magazine archives and a lot more. You can go check it out, relevantstore.com. And make sure to follow us on all the socials. We are putting out good stuff all day, every day. The best way to follow along is on Twitter, Facebook. IG's pulled back a little bit. We're going to get back on the IG horse here in the coming days. And, if you want to get just the best, you can go over to the front page of Relevant, sign up for our newsletter, and our top 5 trending stories each weekday will be sent to your inbox. It's a really good way to stay in the loop about everything we got going on. All right. On that note, we'll wrap things up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Tyler Huckabee.
I'm Gabrielle Griffin.
We will see you next time. Have a great week, everyone.
for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
I've already transitioned most of my lifestyle so that I can be sustained only on crockpot meatballs.
Relevant Podcast Network.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care. Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.